Welcome, everyone.
Yay.
Welcome to Spring in Bloomington, kind of. So we'll get started with roll call around the room. Jane, do you want to kick things off?
Jane Cooper-Smith, UEA.
D. De La Rosa, ESD, Staff Liaison.
Cheryl Gilliland, Deputy Controller, City Controller's Office.
Tegan Garner, staff.
Virginia Gatheri, BUEA.
Heather Robinson, BUEA.
Katarina Kaw, BUEA.
Kate Rosenbarger, BUEA.
Michael Hover, BUEA.
Elisa Spinelli, BUEA.
Excellent.
And Alex Braff, legal.
Cool. Do we have someone else on, Eric, or is that?
And then, do we have a guest, Eric? Can you just state your name, please? You are on mute.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Ost.
Thank you. All right, welcome everyone.
Yeah, so we have a new face in the room.
Welcome.
Carrie, how do I pronounce your last name? Is it Koch?
Kaw.
Kaw?
Kaw.
Okay, so Katarina Kaw, she is our newest member and is in the C3 position that Mary Morgan used to occupy. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Katarina Kaw. I have been, excuse me, I moved to Bloomington over 12 years ago, left for about 7 years, and have done my bloomerang. I came back in 2023. I'm the executive director of the Lotus Education Arts Foundation, and I have a dog and 2 cats, and I met my husband here when I came back to Bloomington, and yeah. Anything particular else I should share?
No.
Great.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
Great, welcome. We're
Thank
happy
you.
to have you joining our group.
Thank you.
Good deal.
D. All right, so we do have minutes, but on that note, we need to reapprove the December minutes because somehow in the recording and in our notes we missed the first and second in there. So I will leave it to you,
Okay.
Heather, to make that happen.
Can we do December and February together?
Yes.
Is everyone okay with that? Were there any questions on the minutes, comments, corrections, anything? Anybody see anything?
No, we've already approved
Yeah.
in the December minutes. And
Yeah.
then,
Nothing?
I didn't see any problems with February.
Okay. Hearing that there are no corrections or anything, do we have a motion to approve both December 2025 and February 2026 minutes?
Motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. And then we'll need to do a roll call for approval since we have Felisa online. So Jane, you want to start again?
Yeah, Jane Cooper-Smith, aye.
And then it comes to you,
Oh,
Virginia.
Virginia Gatheri, yes.
Heather Robinson, yes.
Katarina, should I abstain? Since I...
You can, yeah, since you were not here.
Kate Rosenbarger, yes.
Michael Hover, yes.
Elisa Spinelli, yes.
Okay, thank you. Dee, it looks like Eric has his hand up. Eric?
Yeah, I have a point of order. Did you have quorum in February?
Yes.
Yes.
And did you also satisfy the electronic meeting
Yes.
law?
Yes.
Sorry, is it
Also-
To be
public
on
comment?
cats, right?
Yeah, also we're not in a section of public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
This
that's
isn't,
okay.
this is somewhat
Yeah,
new
we
to
don't
me.
usually have people online, so
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
The reason I asked that
Hey,
is I
Eric,
did not
it's
think
not
that you
public comment right now.
satisfied quorum.
Yeah. All right.
But-
Eric, we can come back to that when we get to general.
There's not even typically public comment on this agenda, but you can allow it, Heather, later if you want to. Or
Sure.
whatever you want to.
Yeah. Can
You have to move to add it to the agenda.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Yes, we will allow. Eric, if you can just hang on, we'll have a space for public comment. We will have to add it to the agenda, approve that process, and then we can add it to the agenda. Okay, so D, then on to director's report.
Okay. pretty quick. So we took care of the meeting minutes. Easy reminders and invoices, we're gonna send those next week. We're still working on getting all of the correct contact information. And we've confirmed that DMA will still be representing Novo Nordisk. So thankfully, there's not there's not a lot of confusion in getting all that taken care of. Once again, board members, if you have recommendations for the remaining open seats, please let me know as soon as possible. You can also contact Jennifer Crossley in the clerk's department directly for anything like that. And then something exciting that has happened recently, we had a little ESO meeting. So it's Entrepreneur Support Organization meeting. So it was myself, some people from the mill, SBDC, and the chamber just got together and kind of talked about what we do. It was a lot of people who were boots on the ground, which was really fun. And some of the things that we are in the process of working on is having a resource desk at the mill. So that would be pretty much open to the public or any of the entrepreneurs or startups that are there. The members of each said organization will rotate out, so we can tell people, I can sit there and tell people about the city and the opportunities there, and the chamber can do the same. We're also the former small business entrepreneurship person over at Amplify. Her team was working on a database of all of the potential resources within the city and in surrounding county. So that's going to be a really great database for us to work with to create a resource rail for people to be able to access, and then eventually doing some ecosystem mapping. So obviously, because the BUE has resources, you guys will be on that list as well. And so we're really excited. It's kind of small steps, foundational steps, but I think it could be really good. And it's nice to get all of us in a room together.
Yeah.
So we see each other in large meetings, but never get to just specifically talk about what we do. So it was really nice.
Good.
Other than that, that's really all I have.
So then we have some financial reports to look at. Cheryl, thanks for having the end of year reports available and ready. So if you want to
Yes.
talk about the year end and so forth, just sort of like the bigger picture. Yep.
So, yes. Get to, when you're looking at 2025, on your budget to actual, I provided the report that shows all the details. There were, when we're looking at just on the income side, you exceeded the amount of money brought in based on over the budgeted amount of what you expected, basically by 83%. So that was really good. To bring in more than you anticipated. But I do think that some of it was a back pay from.
No,
Yeah. It's a pretty big back
So
pay,
you're doing really well with your on your income side. So then when you look on the expense side, you spent 61% of your budget, which is a lot better than you did in 2024. 2024, you only spent 48% of your budget. So that was nice to see because, I think that's a reflection of your leadership and, in terms of some of the budgeted items, in 2024 just didn't get off the ground, and we're, I think in 2025, you had, great response and I think narrowed in on some of your programs a little bit better, and so that was nice to see. And I will just say that one category in your admin category, it shows that you overspent by 14%. And this is really not correct, because on the management side, you'll see that it says $100,000 that was spent. It's really only 50,000 because we had an error in kind of an overpayment. The check was written, and instead of being deposited into because it was written to the city of Bloomington for internal management, it was deposited back into the not the city account, but the BUA account. So it's showing, so the check had to be rewritten. So it was rewritten and shows up, or it shows up here, but the correction for the first wrong deposit didn't happen until January. So it's kind of skewed a little bit, just so that
So in January, we're going to have a negative
exactly
$50,000 that will
balance itself out.
The
So in terms
timing.
of just looking at your budget, it's really kind of overstated, because you really didn't spend $100,000 on management fees.
Okay.
So just so that you know that.
So that does add $50,000 more technically to the net income for the year. So
Exactly.
we're over 500 for the year then.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so if you look down at your, all of your different grant categories, you spent 56% of your grant budgets overall, which was really good. So, other than that, yeah, there's not really, and I will also say that, it's not reflected on this particular profit and loss budget versus actual, but on your balance sheet, and I think the balance sheet I provided is just for the end of the year, it shows the full year. It was pointed out that PALS is still listed, and I was not aware that that needs to be removed because evidently the group decided to cover that balance after the tornado over the summer. And so I can go back and get that corrected and then provide you with an updated, or I could wait and do it for the 2026, where you actually have budgeted to cover a lot of your RRF.
Yeah, because the PALS is actually
yeah.
included in that. It's
It-
not, it's included in the future forgiveness pot of money.
It is, it's not.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
that's how I factored it in mathematically, but I didn't make you aware of of what we were
Okay.
doing because you weren't at that meeting, and I just forgot.
Yeah, so, so if you want to,
So-
I mean, we can just reflect it in 26 if you wish, or,
Yeah, I mean, it was approved in 25, and so at this point, making a prior year adjustment seems like a lot for that, since we do have budget for forgiveness, and that one was in particular one that was converted to a grant. The board approved that. So, yes, we'd like to, I would say that it makes sense to put it in 26, but I welcome anyone else's comments on that as well. Anyone otherwise doesn't, then, because it's just, since we already have a budget for this year for it, let's do that.
okay, perfect. Yeah, well then you'll see that when I provide the quarter one for 2026.
Okay, cool.
Very good.
Yep.
Any questions from anyone on the reports that Cheryl's provided? The net income gain of $500,000 is a lot, gang, so that's, you know.
I have a question. It may be for another time, but I was just wondering about are there goals or percentage goals for utilizing the grants?
Yeah. Dee, that's probably more in your-
As well, all of it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is 100% every time. But I mean, realistically, like, I mean, if we can get to an average of 50% on all of them, because it is a considerable amount of money to like pump out. Some of the grants we expend very quickly, and some of them we just do not. But if we can do an average of 50% on all of them, I think that makes me feel pretty good. Yeah.
I would agree. But, I mean, and I just think that the group has, done a much better job consistently over the last 5 years to, set the budget amount closer to more realistic and made adjustments and getting the word out there. I think, people have to apply for the grants as well.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Excuse me, anything further on financial reports or any questions? And if you have questions, Katarina, don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, I know it's a lot of material to take in at first and a lot of information, so if you review things and have questions, so
Sure.
don't hesitate to reach out. Things. Okay, so we do need a motion to approve the Q4 2025 financial reports with noting that the administration or management fee there is more. It's not going to be adjustment on this or anything, but just to make that note of, as Cheryl explained. So if we could have a motion to approve the financials.
Oh, you got a motion for me?
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, if we can do around the room roll call for approval.
Yep. Jane Cooper Smith, aye.
Virginia Gatheri, aye.
Heather Robinson, aye.
Katarina Kaw, aye.
Kate Rosenbarger, yes.
Michael Hobert, yes.
Felisa Spinelli, yes.
Okay. Financials approved, thank you. All right, Dee, what's up next?
We have a business building improvement grant application from WonderLab. For full disclosure, I am on the WonderLab board. However, since I am not a voting member, all I can do is present you with the information. This grant is to replace windows in the, oh, sorry, I thought I already had it up. Hold on a second, let me put this up. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, the pictures are really big.
Yeah,
They are big.
they're big.
Hello, little stuffed animal. Window.
Hang on just a second, folks.
Yeah.
Can you look at your chats, please? Can you look at your chats, please? Sorry, guys. Sorry, hold on one moment.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll just be transparent. I was just verifying with legal that there's not a conflict of interest for Dee to present since she serves on the Wonder Lab board. She's not a voting member, but our goal at the city is to avoid the appearance of conflicts of interest as well as actual conflicts of interest. So my concern was that it inadvertently favors Wonder Lab by having a staff member present on their behalf. But legal is saying no, it's okay for Dee to present. She is not voting. And so she doesn't have the option of recusing herself. So you're presenting a staff report on behalf of Wonder Lab.
Yep.
You're not acting in your board member role.
I am not.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that for the record. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jane, appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dee.
Yeah.
So, Wonder Lab.
So Wonder Lab has received grants from the BUEA in the past. However, they have not applied for this specific grant. This is a business building improvement grant to cover the replacement of some windows that have been in the building for almost as long as the building has stood. Pretty basic replacement. You'll note that there is an updated budget from the draft packet that I sent out, which was on onboard or may still be. There were some labor costs that they wanted covered, and within the labor costs that they were asking to have covered cannot be covered within this grant. So the ask numbers have been adjusted for the appropriate amounts. So Wonder Lab is, my screen just got small again, sorry. Because these pictures are big. So the ask is for, if I can find the budget now. Apologies.
Okay. I think it's,
The ask is for $4,094.16.
Gotcha.
The total cost of the project is $8,188.31. That would be $7,793.11 for the windows and $395.20 for the labor for the for Bloomington Glass, I believe is the company.
City Glass.
City Glass. Sorry. It's pretty straightforward. Building improvement grant.
I think that $395 is the staff time for the work during the replacement. Is that right? To clear the gift store and be present for the install. So it's sort of a part of that construction cost is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that was up in there.
Oh, I did not see
report.
that.
Yeah, it was their staff time to remove items from the gift shop, and I think they estimated it 16 hours or something like that, if I remember correctly. Not on that page yet. And so they were asking for BUA to cover the staff time as well.
Oh, okay.
So the reason that's included is because in the application, they state that they are closed on Mondays. They're doing the installation, they're doing overtime hours for staff time to clear the facility and prepare for the installation and have people on site. So that's why these expenses were broken down in actual immediate costs of the installation and construction costs.
Okay, that's helpful. So,
Just a quick question. So the grant, is it, does it require a match and
It does require
Okay.
50%
50%? Okay. And then it's, so those labor costs,
If you see the
Yeah.
very back,
yep. So those labor costs are included in the construction. The grant doesn't cover other labor other than the construction, is that?
Yeah, so in the original budget that they gave us, there was lifetime maintenance, which we don't cover lifetime maintenance. Like that's, we cover the things that get you there
Yeah.
and the things to complete the project, but we don't do anything beyond that.
Got it.
I would say the only part I am unsure about is the 395. I mean, so just when we're talking about this grant versus other grants and like what this might look like in another applicant. So I guess I don't know that we've covered like additional staff time before. That's my only question. Like, is that something we're already into and are happy being in that space? Or is that, have we normally just covered the cost of like an outside contractor coming in?
The only thing that, let me think. Let me just look something up really quick.
Since I've been there, I don't remember covering those costs.
Right.
Right. And I will say that most of the time when labor has been put into a thing, it just says labor. And it's, I think that many of the projects that we funded have been for for-profit organizations. So take that however you'd like, but mostly it has just been like lumped in as labor. And no, I have not seen it broken out like this before.
Yeah. I would agree. I feel that it feels weird to pay the company that's receiving the grant a portion to cover those costs. It does feel a little fishy.
I think it's reasonable.
It's not a large amount, but I could see it being taken advantage of in a different application.
Like any kind of project requires, it requires you to, like, they're not gonna bring in somebody into their building and not have any staff to be able to manage the project. I guess, if that cost is not considered a component of construction, I can see it both ways, really, yeah.
your new amount then would be a total cost of that 7,793.11, and then you'd be at a grant cost of $3,896.56. Just for reference.
Does anybody else have any comments considering that?
Well, I'm thinking about what Brad would say if he were here, and he would want to know what's in the policy and the guidelines. And I do think it's totally reasonable to include staff labor as a cost. This is an additional project outside of the normal responsibilities that we're doing, so I think if they allocate staff time to it, it's okay. It's just a question of what our policy is. And we may, yeah, go ahead, Felisa.
If I may, I think it's reasonable. I just think no one ever went through putting the details of significant, this is what we're paying, who, what, when, and why. They just put labor.
We've never seen it before, yeah. And it's actually only $197.50 if we think about it from the standpoint of.
Because they
we're-
put
Yeah.
complete
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
We're contributing toward half of the total cost here, so,
Right.
with the labor on it. I'm okay with the labor being in there. I think for this
I am too.
particular situation, I agree, and it kind of was in my mind about this too. We haven't seen this, but if it's as this is completely called out and very specific to the actual installation, the day of the installation and the staff they need, I think that's reasonable to ask
I
for
do too.
some coverage. And it'll end up being half of the cost of the labor.
On our website, for business building improvement, we talk about eligibility criteria. We don't talk about ineligible expenses for this one, but for minor improvement, we list ineligible expenses as routine maintenance, major renovations or structural overhauls. Again, that's for the minor. Purchase of new equipment, not related to repairs, debt repayment or refinancing. So I think staff could own the action item of updating the language on our website. And this might take us a little bit to get to, but to add ineligible expenses for each category to kind of make those guidelines more robust. And if the board needs to vote on that, we could make that official. So
I also think, just from my observation, and I'm not voting or anything, but this window is huge. And I'm sure the business has a lot of merchandise and things that must be removed in order to actually do the replacement. So it's kind of like tied in. I mean, they can't just, put it in from the outside or, it just seems like a lot of work. Kind of like your home getting new carpeting or flooring, that you've got to move everything. So that's my observation anyway.
Any other comments?
I'll say another. I think this one doesn't worry me as much, right? I'm always like, what have we done and what will we do? That I think, Heather, some of the reasons you gave were good. I don't know that it matters that it's a small amount, because someone could come with a larger amount and we would still have to figure that out. I think because Wonder Lab is closed on Mondays, it's definitely a day when their staff would not be working. I'm just like going through some different scenarios. I think that sometimes I think an organization could have somebody else like managing the project, in which case that would be covered in the cost of the construction. I think that, right, you kind of said it was specific and it's closed that day, and that I think that is important to me, because no matter what project comes here, some staff is going to be most likely like managing it or overseeing it to some degree, and it's like when is it outside of the normal course of the business, and I think this one is, I guess.
I don't think they have like someone contracted to pack up all the,
Right.
gift shop item. I mean, it just feels like a situation like that when you're in a nonprofit, especially, everyone does that type of stuff. You don't hire out those types of things, and so the staff would, and of course they just would have to be there to open the door and let the contractors in. They're doing the windows and all of these types of things. So I think it completely fits within the project. But Kate, I think you make a really good point about in the future, if there's staff, costs that are $3,000-$4,000 and so forth. But again, if that's relevant to the specific project and it is, kind of boxed into that, it could be a reasonable ask to include that.
With this amount, but I agree, we should look at the language of the grant and maybe put some guidelines on there, because I could see it getting taken advantage of.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on how they define it, or the, staff time needed for a specific thing. I think this is a clear need for staff to be there. I suppose in some other projects it may not, it depending on what they're asking for. So I mean, I'd hate to completely exclude it from the grant, I mean, but, so what are you thinking as far as like parameters then, like?
I'm not quite sure. I think that would be a group effort to
Okay.
try to determine that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I wouldn't want it to put it in as an exclusion, because in a situation like this, at least this is just me thinking that, I think it's fair for them to ask for that.
Sure.
But, yeah, so I don't know what the specifics could be around limiting something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they're,
think this is a, sorry, Dee.
oh, no, go ahead.
No,
Melissa.
go, please,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I think this is a case-by-case situation because, like Kate said, it could be a larger amount in a different situation where there's not staff needed, and we determine the factor where we shouldn't be applying funds where a company doesn't need staff there for this project. So we can't say, yes, we'll give money for staff to be on site when there's a project all the time, or no, we won't give money when staff need to be on site, because each situation will differ, and we have to determine on our end which we see fit, and that's going to be case by case.
Yeah.
We just need to make our website very clear that in that case, or in any case, if we see fit, we will allow funds to be applicable.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there are a couple of things that could potentially be put in there. First, making the exception for nonprofits, like making that just like, we'll do it for nonprofits, but we won't do it for for-profits, because we do give this grant to for-profit businesses. So that's one thing. Secondly, if we are going to do it for nonprofits, putting like a cap on it, where it's like only like so much money, will only pay up to this amount of labor, either this amount or this percentage against your grant to be able to do
Sorry,
that.
what's the logic behind not approving labor costs for for-profits? I mean, we're just
Oh,
trying to.
no, I'm saying no, that we wouldn't, that it would be for nonprofits if this were to come up again. And
The staff labor costs?
Yes.
So why wouldn't we, if it's an eligible expense, in my opinion, it's an eligible expense regardless of the organization, because the BUEA's
I agree.
purpose
Okay.
is to work for, economic revitalization of the enterprise zone, and it states that it's working for businesses in its founding documents. So I think it's an introduction from the board if they're hair splitting between for nonprofits. And we all know that a lot of our small business, our zone small businesses are acting as nonprofits anyway.
I was just stating limiters
Yeah.
that could be put out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I just.
I mean, maybe it's.
Okay, yeah, y'all know I'm gonna come with a pitchfork when you start hair splitting. We should not have it on one side and not the other.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's across the board for the grant, if they're applying and so forth, that's the case. So, I mean, I think it really is just that making the case in the grant application, as they did here. They like cost it out per hour, what it takes, the number of hours, they're closed on Mondays. Thanks for that information. They should have put that in there. Closed on Monday, those types of things. I think then making the case for the labor then comes to the board, and we can determine that is, applicable for the grant. And in this case, I think they've made the case. But, I mean, maybe some language more around, that, or if you get a grant submission that asking for it and doesn't have it, I think we need just clarity on it. Please, provide some additional information.
They also did note in their long narrative when we were breaking it out that they are closed on Monday, and that's why they were including staff time.
Okay.
Just to say that I didn't go searching for that information, they did provide that.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have included it.
Okay.
They went through that in their basic product details.
Okay.
So I would.
And I'm actually, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it's a delay on this. I can't hear y'all until 2 seconds after.
Yeah.
So I'm actually glad that they broke it down in such a way, because it gave us a chance to have this conversation, because we will run into this again. And I think this is a good cause. I'm all for this. The Wonder Lab is president in Bloomington. Like, it's a really big deal. So I'm all for them. And the staff needs to be paid if they're gonna be on site during this project.
I would probably say, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate in not adding language about staff time to the grant, because I think we're gonna get into a position then where that's going to be an easy ask, easier, that could exceed maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I would probably argue, especially since this is not something we've seen, or we don't see much, I don't know, that we don't add it, that we just allow to adjudicate each time. Because we may not see this again for another year or 2 years. So that's just my 2 cents, that I would probably not even say any language about if you need to include staff, if you need to, just because if it's there, it's going to be used. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be exploited, but I'm just gonna say, as a business owner myself, if we had a whole overhaul and Oprah came and wrote me a check for, $100 million and said, do whatever you want for popcorn, but you gotta pay for your labor for the, to be here for the guys to open up, why wouldn't I pay them for 8 hours to be there to twiddle their thumbs and eat extra popcorn? I mean, I'm just being transparent.
Yeah.
So I would probably say, unless we feel that it is highly necessary, I probably would not add that as a line. If this, because this is public information, I mean, to a point, if it becomes a thing, then I think maybe re-review, but I mean, since I've been here, I've never seen it or heard it, so I don't know.
I appreciate that. I'm curious about Kate too and her thoughts. And I just wanted to say, I benefited from Tegan's restatement of what the dynamic was. And so I want to say for this instance, I support it because they have incurred additional staff time. But going forward in our guidelines, what I would recommend and what I think staff can come back with a recommendation for the board, but is allowing staff time as in-kind match. That's what would be standard for other grant making programs. So I'm walking back what I said previously. I wouldn't typically reimburse for regular staff time, but I would allow the calculation of staff time as their part of their match. Where are you?
I just, because I have the original application up, I think, and it did, it did say it will most likely be on a Monday when they are closed to not interfere with daily museum operations, which I really appreciated, since so many people do plan their Wonder Lab trips on the days that it's open, and that can be pretty bad for parents or teachers or anything. So that's why I was saying they're really doing it when their staff wouldn't be working, and potentially their staff are not available that day because they're never working on Mondays. So I think that is different. I'm sure, Jane, you asked because I've talked about this before, that I think when our guidelines aren't clear, like I've read guidelines and been like, I don't think I qualify, so I'm not going to apply, where other people are like, I'll just do it, right? And then we give it to the people who ask instead of the people who are like following what the rules appear to be online. So in that way, I kind of lean against not saying it's available to everyone, but I do think capping it, I mean, this grant is 10,000 max, and then, right, it can be more if we review it, right? But I think if it's included in that max and it's like a pretty low amount, like $250 or something, where, we're not paying people $100 an hour to sit and watch someone replace a window or replace a door, when their store is open. Or, like, that's very different, right? But I guess I think parameters around it, when I don't really understand the in-kind part. Jane, what do you mean by that?
Well, we asked them to make a match for the project, a 50% match. And so if they have staff time related to the project, I'm suggesting that they could list that as part of their matching funds. So that could be, well, taking this as an example, the time that the person's removing things from the window, but not additional. So, yeah, that's not a good example.
In this situation, the outcome would be the same.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same outcome,
Yeah.
but you're clocking time to make sure you get more in money. And you're just using that money you pay your staff to clock that down.
Okay.
Yeah, and just valuing the time value.
Yeah.
Of
It's almost as an additional investment from the business, you're taking that into consideration.
I think they did a really great job at, we know that the 7,904 of staff time over 20 years of cleaning is not eligible. So they were very clear about what they were putting that amount for. And then they're also very clear on what it actually takes to make the improvement project happen. And so I would, you could do an improvement project that is, not necessarily, that could be run by staff, I mean, the labor is sort of irrelevant to me, whether it's the staff doing it or it's a contractor doing it. They're choosing their staff to be there in that space to do it. So if, to me, it's kind of like, if the labor is required for the project, it is part of the project budget.
Yeah.
And that could be clearly stated if there's going to be eligible or ineligible costs related in your policy, so.
I'm going to have to step away to get ready for my 1 o'clock meeting, so if you all are ready to vote, I can wait for you.
Everybody ready? Okay, all right, so do we have a motion on the request from Wonder Lab for the replacement window, and as we've discussed, the labor, sorry, I'm getting to the amount. $4,094.16.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second. And then Jane, if you want to start for
Jane Cooper Smith, aye.
Virginia Gatheri, aye.
Heather Robinson, aye.
Katarina Kaw, aye.
Kate Rosenberger, yes?
Michael Hober, yes.
Lisa Spinelli, yes.
Okay. Motion carries. It is approved. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. All right.
Did we want to comments?
So what do we need to do, Dee, for the?
A motion?
So for this, we have to, motion to amend the agenda for public comment. And then we can allow Eric to speak.
Okay. So do we have a motion to amend today's agenda to allow, do we have to be specific about comment?
Just motion to add public comment, to
Okay.
amend the agenda to add public comment.
Okay. Motion to amend the agenda and add a public comment section. Do we have a motion to,
Michael Hober, yes.
and a second?
Lisa Spinelli, yes.
Okay, we'll, second. All right, then we'll, Kate, for you, we'll start. Don't we have to do the aye
Yeah, we
around?
have to.
Oh, yes. Kate Rosenberger, yes?
Katarina Kaw, yes.
Virginia Gatheri, oh,
That's okay. Heather Robinson, aye.
Virginia Gatheri, yes.
And we, okay, I think that motion carries. Thank you. All right,
Thanks for
so,
waiting, Eric.
thanks. Eric, comments, please?
Yeah, thank you. So I may be confused, and if so, I apologize, but I noticed that in your February meeting minutes, you have 6 members present,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and your board has 12 members.
Yes, so the quorum is based on the amount of voting members. So 2 of those members are non-voting, they're gubernatorial appointments. So the quorum is based off of 10. So if we have
Yeah,
6,
so-
that makes quorum.
Okay, so that's one point, but I think actually one of those governor appointments is voting. By Indiana code.
Not in our bylaws.
No, but I mean by Indiana code, which authorized this body to exist. I believe one is voting, the other one is non-voting. But regardless, and that might be something, and on board, please go ahead.
Yeah, we're just getting some answers real
We were
quick.
just asking.
We just want to answer your first question before we moved in.
Yeah, just getting some
Well, but I
clarification.
just looked at Indiana code and I believe that's what it says, but the on-board listing for this body has all members as voting. So that's one confusion. And that's on-board, not on your webpage, because there's an on-board page that's separate that lists, like the individual seats, like C4, et cetera. So that's one point of order. The second one is the electronic meeting law. And for a member to participate electronically, you need 50% of the members present.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was satisfied, because you had 6 total members attending with 1 online. That meant 5 were present,
We had 4.
and you needed 6.
I'm sorry. You had 4.
We had 4 in person. We had Jane, we had Michael, we had Brad, and then we had Heather.
So you needed 6, because, for instance, let's use the Common Council as an example. They have, so if you have,
Oh, it's
you're
not.
saying you
So,
have-
Eric, one second, we do have a person on council here who can explain that, because it's not the same as common council.
Alex, you might be able to weigh in, I'm
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
BUEA has different rules, like we
Right.
don't have the state adopted rules for BUEA that Common Council follows.
BUEA has its own.
Electronic.
No, sorry, I was just using the numeric equivalent, but I think that if you indeed only have 10 voting members, which I don't think is correct, but that was the claim, then I don't think either of these point of orders pertain. If, however, one of those members appointed by the governor is voting, that would give you 11 voting members, which means that you would need 6 members present.
Right, so a person that participates electronically is considered present for quorum.
And you probably need to move to a mic.
No, wait a minute, could you restate that?
Yes.
One second.
That is
She's-
what is different
Said that
than
another, oh,
other boards and commissions.
No, and in fact, I while I was waiting, you actually adopted in 2021, electronic meeting policy. Your board did,
Yes.
Yes.
which was the same as state code, which means that 50% of members need to be present for any member to participate electronically.
No, it's a little different. So if a board member that's voting is present electronically, they're considered present for the purpose of a quorum.
That's quorum, not
Yes.
electronic participation. That's separate.
Right, but the BUA has adopted a special rule where electronic participation counts as being present.
For quorum,
Yes.
but not to, so these are 2 separate statutes. And maybe, I don't know if it's really worthwhile if there's that point of confusion, but you could look at Indiana code, I believe it's 5-14 probably 3 something, which states, and I think you have adopted that, which says that in order to have a member participate electronically, this is separate from quorum, you need to have 50% of your members present.
That is not part of the policy that the BUA has adopted.
I believe there was a meeting in 2021 where you did.
If you want to forward any information about that, I'll be happy to look at it, but that is not our current policy.
Okay, I think it was July 2021, and I believe Larry Allen presented this to you. But anyway, I also want to express appreciation. I know sometimes these things are difficult to keep track of, and you are very attentive to your charge. You're working with non-trivial sums of money, and you're helping a lot of people out. So I appreciate all of your time and effort on this.
Yeah, great. We appreciate your comments.
But I would like a follow-up on my points of order, so I can contact you later.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. All right, we're
All right,
right on time, 1:01. So unless there's anything else, we'll call the meeting adjourned.
All right, thanks.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.